There should be an inn called the Three Sisters there, he said. And I hope that the name is nothing but a name. I'd rather not have some innkeeper determining my fate, he thought. They followed the road, and Marc was pretty sure he knew when they'd reached the area that the guard had mentioned. It was a huge open space that had numerous roads leading into it. In the center of the space was what looked like an oversized well, mortared stone formed into a massive circle with some sort of metal grate topping it. All around the square were buildings facing into the square. There were several inns, but the Three Sisters was obvious, since it had a signboard in front of it with 3 women on it, one young, one older, and one gray-haired. Marc pointed it out, and the group hurried over to the inn, having no idea when this game of chance Marc had been informed of began. They wanted to get rooms at the inn, register for the game, then find out what they could about the city, the dungeon, and why they were combined the way they were. Marc dealt with the innkeeper, once again proffering his hand to shake and having to pantomime what he was after with Jeff. Once the innkeeper had shaken his hand, given him a glare at the little tingle of the ESL skill activating, Marc had to explain once more that it was his way of learning the language. After that, they started haggling. The innkeeper had quoted an outrageous 4 silver per room per night at the start. Marc had started in on haggling him down, something he wasn't all that good at, but apparently the innkeeper enjoyed. Rob was standing right behind Marc throughout, and while Marc was sure that the tank wasn't using his intimidation skill, he was once again reminded that Rob didn't really need that. The innkeeper was half a head shorter than Marc, never mind Rob, and kept shooting slightly nervous glances at Rob. In the end, they settled on 3 silver per room for 3 rooms. That price would also include breakfast and dinner, although they'd be on their own for lunch. Once they'd made the deal and Marc had paid for 2 days in advance, the innkeeper pulled out a small leather bag. "Here, you each take one to register," he said. Marc nodded, not having known how they'd register, but if there was a token or ticket or something, that made sense to him. He reached into the bag, feeling lots of solid, cool tokens. He took one and drew it out. The innkeeper immediately reached for his hand. Seeing the stone token in it, he pushed Marc's hand down to a small slab of stone with a circular indentation in the center of it. As he pushed the token into the hole, he felt a small tingle in his hand, similar to his ESL skill. There was also a brief flash of dim light. Is that why they freaked out about the little tingle from my skill? He thought. I suppose it makes sense if this game is some sort of big deal or something. If what I do feels the same as registering a token, they might be worried that I'm stealing their entry or something. As he mused, the rest of the group went through one at a time, claiming a token and registering it. Marc stared at his own token. The script was unfamiliar, but he was pretty sure it was a number followed by a letter, having seen enough of the script in Olympus to tell that much at least. "Everyone ready?" Marc said, once Jeff had taken and registered a token, the last of them to do so. They didn't really need to drop off items in their rooms. It was all stored in their inventory, but they went to check out the rooms anyway. They were spacious, at least, and the furniture was of high quality compared to most of what they'd seen in the town so far. So, good quality for here, but not quite what we're used to, Marc thought, spotting the chamber pot in the corner. The group had agreed to quickly check out their rooms, then they'd meet down in the common room of the inn so they could make plans. They took a back corner table, not worried about being overheard since they'd be speaking English. "So, I think we need to find out about 2 things, Jeff said. This game, and its prizes, as well as the relationship between the Minotaur's Labyrinth and this city." "I think the game is a little less important," Marc said. "Prizes, Marc. It's relatively big for a city compared to all the safe zones we've seen around here, so they probably got some sweet prizes," Jeff replied. Marc just shook his head. "Felicia and I were talking," Ellis said. "We need Marc to come with us so we can communicate, but we're going shopping." "Wait, what?" Jeff said. "How is that supposed to help with either of the things we're looking for?" "Jeff, shopkeepers like the ones that are probably around here are notorious gossips. If you want to find out what's going on in a town, do some shopping, but listen closely to the shopkeepers when they aren't focused on you. They gossip like those damned teeny boppers back in Deacon's Falls," Felicia said. "Besides, we saw some really nice pieces on our way to the inn here," Ella said. "Felicia saw some she wants to use as decoration."